All right, let's get into a really serious and honestly often misunderstood crime: arson. Specifically, we're going to break down California Penal Code 451C. Now, this is a law that was basically born from a place where the threat of fire is just a constant, devastating reality.
And this quote, man, it just hits you, right? It really gets to the heart of the issue in California. We're not just talking about property damage. We're talking about that terrifying speed, how fast a fire can just swallow up land and put lives on the line. And that high-stakes environment, it completely shapes how the law deals with this crime.
So, because of that immense danger, you've got to understand that California law doesn't just see arson as, some kind of simple property damage. No way. It's treated as a major threat to public safety, and the laws are written to reflect that potential for absolute catastrophe.
Okay, let's look at the official legal definition here. Now, the two most important words on this slide, and you're going to hear me say them a lot, are willfully and maliciously. This is not about accidents. The law is targeting an act that is both intentional and done with some kind of wrongful, evil intent.
So how does this law actually work in practice? Well, it's not a single one-size-fits-all kind of charge. It's actually broken down into different levels of seriousness, and it all depends on what was burned and if anyone got hurt in the process.
As you can see, the charges range from setting fire to some personal property all the way up to acts that cause serious physical harm to someone. Our focus today is right there in the middle, PC 451C, the one that deals with setting fire to a structure or forest land.
And this right here, this is what shows you just how seriously the state takes this crime. Get this, even if nobody gets hurt, not a single person, intentionally setting fire to a building or a patch of forest is an automatic felony. Why? Simply because of the massive danger it poses to literally everyone and everything around it.
And a felony conviction, of course, comes with some heavy consequences. We're talking serious time. The penalty for PC 451C is a state prison sentence, and a judge can hand down a term of 2, 4, or even 6 years.
Now, you're probably wondering, what exactly counts as a structure or forest land? Well, the legal definitions are incredibly broad, and for a very good reason. Think about it. In California, a small fire in some dry grass can turn into a raging inferno that burns down a whole neighborhood. That's why a structure isn't just a house. It can be a bridge, a tunnel, even a power plant. And forest land covers just about any brushy area. The law is written this way because it has to reflect the reality that any uncontrolled fire anywhere is a threat to everything.
So, this is where things get really fascinating. How does the legal system tell the difference between a deliberate criminal act and just a tragic accident? Believe me, this distinction is everything when it comes to an arson case.
Okay, this slide right here, this is the whole ballgame. For a prosecutor to get an arson conviction, they can't just prove that a fire happened and the person was there. No, they have to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the act was willful, meaning on purpose, and malicious, meaning it was done with wrongful intent. An accidental fire, no matter how destructive it is not arson. Well, that brings up the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If the defendant doesn't confess, how on earth do authorities prove what was going on inside their head? How do they actually prove intent?
So let's break that down. Proving arson isn't guesswork. It's a methodical, scientific process. It's basically a hunt for clues that can transform what looks like a simple fire investigation into a major criminal case.
Investigators follow a very clear path. First things first, they lock down the scene. Then they dig in to figure out the origin and the cause, the where and the how of the fire. Only after that do they really start asking why, searching for that crucial evidence of a criminal act before they can even think about making an arrest.
So what kind of stuff are they looking for? Well, these are the breadcrumbs that lead to an arson charge. Things like accelerants, gasoline or lighter fluid, or finding multiple spots where the fire was started. They'll also look for suspicious behavior, any prior threats, or a clear motive, like revenge or trying to cash in on an insurance policy. These are the puzzle pieces that help build a solid case for a willful and malicious act.
Okay, so what happens after the investigators have gathered enough evidence and they finally make an arrest? The whole focus then shifts away from the smoldering scene of the fire and into the halls of the justice system.
The moment a suspect is taken into custody, a whole series of legal and administrative steps kick off immediately. This is going to include booking, where all their information is recorded, and then that really critical step, setting bail. And that decision determines if the accused can even be released while their case moves forward.
Now, because someone accused of arson is seen as a major threat to public safety, bail can be set incredibly high.
And this is where something called a bail bond often comes into play. It's a financial deal that allows a defendant's family to get them released by paying a percentage of the total bail to an agency, and that agency then guarantees the full amount to the court if the person doesn't show up.
So the bottom line is that this law is designed to be tough, and it's designed to be far-reaching. And that brings us to one final and really important question. What if you were involved somehow, but you weren't the one who actually lit the match? The answer to that is a big, emphatic yes. The law is crystal clear that a person is guilty of arson if they aid, counsel, or procure the burning. This just underscores how seriously the law treats any involvement. It makes it plain as day that helping to plan, encouraging, or arranging an act of arson is every bit as illegal as striking the match yourself. It's a powerful reminder of how seriously California law treats any role, big or small, in the crime of fire.